My name is Marvin Kane. I'm your humble guide on this journey of relationships. Welcome to our channel. Love is not judgmental. Today's topic is an interesting topic because it's a current event. Not really a current event, but the person's name, DJ Envy, an older man, and how older men can manipulate younger women, like Erica Mena, is our subject. And why do we bring this up? Well, it's a hot topic. It's great, for discussion. And all the thoughts that are being contributed here are allegedly. We don't know them. We don't really know the viewpoints. And right now, it's an unfortunate situation that has been, talked about a lot. Is the fact that DJ Envy is involved in this scam that's going on in the mortgage industry, real estate, things like that. And that's the background that I come from. And I can tell you, you can pick whatever side you choose. I mean, I don't really know the guy, so I'm not sure if he even is guilty because I can tell you he seems like a very nice man, a community type person. And yeah, he has an interesting past that makes some people wonder, but that's between him and the courts to decide. I'm not here to litigate or to really offer a hardcore opinion. But what I did notice and learn was as they're bringing up all types of information regarding him, is that in 2013, he was actually involved in an affair while married with a younger woman whose name is Erica Mena. Now, in 2013, which is 10 years ago, Erica Mena was, let's see, let's look it up. She was 26 years old. 26. And DJ Envy at the time, he was 36. So he was 10 years older than she was. Now, often on this channel, when we talk about age gap relationships, we always mention we're not talking about teens. We're not talking about teenagers or regarding people like 20 years old, 21 years old, like that. Because the solidification of the brain, it's when the brain gets hard. It's no longer mushy and soft, where decisions and mindsets and self discoveries can be consistent. That solidification process in women takes place between the ages of 23, 25. That's one study. Another study shows that for men, it's between the ages of 25, 27. So this is kind of why we talk about sometimes that women are more mature than men or women mature faster than men. And that's because for women, the solidification process takes place sooner. Now, we don't know when Erica Mena's brain solidified. We don't know when it happens to anybody. You can actually get tests, they can scan it, they can tell you, but it's got to be on site and it's a course of procedures. But we don't know that. But what we do know is that a 26-year-old woman talking to a 36-year-old man, she can be manipulated. And it happens all the time in relationships. Now, while on this channel we discuss age gap relationships, I don't know the details of their relationship. I just know one thing that I heard her say, and that was she did not know that DJ Envy was married. And that happens a lot. That happens a lot because, and they were very public about it too, because, I mean, they've been seen in New York City and different places like that, walking around in public holding hands. And he never brought up his wife, but he was married at that time. And we know he was married because he actually made a public apology regarding the situation. So, what we want to discuss this morning are situations like that in which women find themselves being manipulated by these type of men, these older men that are just manipulating. Now, if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and do that. Don't forget to also like and share the information with a friend. But we're going to take a deep dive into how older men like DJ Envy would actually manipulate a younger woman like Erica Mena. And as we talk about these subjects, remember that every morning we have these type of discussions on relationships, all things relationships at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So as you are here today, we appreciate it, and we look forward to you being with us again tomorrow. So when it comes to age gap relationships, they're just some uncommon attractions. And uncommon in the sense that we live in a world where everybody feels that if you're in a relationship, you're going to be of the same age. Well, in some cases, that might be true. That might work out. But we're talking about an attraction, and I'm just cutting off my phone here if you're wondering what am I doing. But when we talk about an attraction, we're talking about something that causes a person to take notice, but then at some point, you have to dig a little deeper to really get to know who the person is. The attraction should alternate. So if a man is attracted to a woman by what he sees initially, like Erica Mena is a beautiful woman. But what makes no sense to me is she knew he had children. Did she ask the question? Like she never mentioned whether she asked if he were married. She just assumed that he wasn't because he didn't bring her up. Well, why didn't she bring her up? So some people would say because of that, allegedly, that maybe she had known secretly. I mean, he is a famous guy. He has talked about his wife on many occasions, and she's been around him publicly at award shows and things like that. So it's like, how could she miss it, right? That's what people ask. Well, the thing is, when you're being manipulated, you don't see things right. Or maybe, obviously he's got kids, so there is a baby mama around. And that's kind of common in people's culture. So it's very easy to kind of say, well, they're going to be with their mom tonight. Not my wife, but my mom tonight. Just little things like that. And if you're in a relationship, you're a 26-year-old woman, you've got this guy, he's famous, he's making a lot of money, she's coming into her fame at that point in time in her career. And, it's kind of exciting for her. So he's able to control the situation and steer it in any direction that he chooses because he's got a little more experience than she does. At this point, he's 36 years old. At 36 years old, he's been in a series of relationships and he's been married. And so he's got something over her that she's not able to, even in the most creative parts of her mind, able to handle. So just kind of getting to know people, that's why it's always best to move slow. And I myself have, in the past, have moved sometimes too fast to move into relationships. To only find out the big surprises later. You really didn't know this person, and the way they presented themselves was not who their character proved them to be. So let's say you're in a room filled with a whole bunch of people, and your eyes cross, and you mix mindsets with this person that you see. I mean, that's how passion starts. It starts with the look, but at some point, it's got to grow up. It's got to go up to the point where you start to see the deeper things of a person. You start to see unique perspectives of who they are. You're listening to the conversations. You're paying attention to innuendos, the small talk, the large talk. You're paying attention to these things, the unspoken words, body language. You're paying attention to these things. Why? Because attraction runs deep. Attraction is an attachment that connects you to a person, but it's only temporary. It has to keep evolving. It has to cross a bridge and become something different. That spark is initial. That spark begins the fire. But what keeps the fire going? Well, that's going to be time and your pursuit of knowing the truth and the details about the person that you're involved in. So you have to understand that once this spark is ignited, there's other things that has to be taken care of in the relationship. For example, psychological and the dynamics of an age gap relationship. I mean, you're bringing different backgrounds and experiences to life and a new culture that you're developing with a new person. But that doesn't mean that the connection is going to be shallow because there's a difference in age gap. See, I'm sure DJ Envy, in pursuit of this woman, because they met at a club. I mean, weird places. I mean, people just do weird stuff. I mean, they met at a club, a strip club, actually. And allegedly, I'll say because this is not my story, I'm just using it as a comparison, as an example, to get people to lift their minds up to know what it is that they're actually getting involved in, especially younger women. And then older men can be manipulated too. But we'll save that discussion for another day, another 7:30 YouTube Live moment. But these relationships, they don't always prove to be shallow because the person comes genuine. And if you don't know the person, if you don't know history or background of the individual, which she obviously says she didn't, she doesn't know his truth language, his language of truth. She just knows what he hears, and she's going to believe and take his word for what it is. And it's essential to explore how the psychological background of a person and those dynamics, how they play in a relationship. And this is when you really get into paying attention again. See, love can bloom when two people connect. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. There's that intellectual connection, there's the emotional connection, the compatibility, and you're paying attention. I mean, here's a 26-year-old woman with a 36-year-old man who already has children. Is that what she really wants? I mean, did she have her own children? I mean, what did she want? But it was common in the community, right? So going beyond age means sharing in a person's dreams, their values. These are discussions, the future, interests, places you like to go to. What are your friends saying? What are you hearing? What is his friend saying? What are people telling you? I mean, if you were dating a famous person, wouldn't you like Google them and look them up? I mean, did she never do this? It's kind of, and that's why it's really difficult for people to believe that she just did not know if this man were married. But the whole time he's telling her a story, he's telling her a dream, and she's buying it, or she's just accepting to it. And she says she never knew that he was married until uh, Gaia called him, Gaia Casey, which is DJ Envy's wife. She said she never knew. She got a phone call, and that's when she knew because she was introduced, and then she was shocked, and of course, things turned into the negative direction, and the relationship was exposed, and of course, it was ended because you can't have another man's man, another man's woman. Yeah, you can't be his woman if he already belongs to another woman, and that's the reality that she learned. So creating the picture of love depends what you're painting with. So relationships, when it comes to age gap relationships, you got to think about this stuff. I mean, because I'm telling you, older people are wiser. Even if it's the reverse, even if it's an older woman with a younger man, what are the truths? I mean, your responsibility when it comes to dating is not to do it recreationally. I mean, dating responsibly is key to having a good relationship. And responsibly means that it's not just a fleeting romance that you're part of. You're not just in this thing for the short term. You want to date forever. So you look and you set your mind up. Look, I'm going to be with this person and it's going to be long term. And you look at those goals that you guys have. How do you fit in with their goals? How do they fit in with your goals? See, imagine dating with the intention of a long lasting relationship. Some people just don't date with that mindset. They date recreationally. Recreational dating is just a disaster waiting to happen. I mean, you're talking about a commitment, a partnership. I mean, you get into business to make money. Is this just a temporary thing? Some people say it like that. They frivolously go into a business and they say, oh, this is just for now. I'm going to do this for 5 years. You know what happens? 5 years never come because they weren't able to make a strong commitment. That business didn't last 6 months. It was done in 6 months because they weren't willing to go the distance. And that's the same thing when it comes to dating. Are you willing to go the distance with this person? And maybe she was, but obviously he wasn't. And she couldn't feel that because she was being manipulated. So responsibility means understanding the significance of your choices. So we all make choices, thousands and thousands of choices a day. We don't even realize all the choices and decisions that we constantly are making. Both partners do it. So it's about nurturing love. You got to get to the point where you're not no longer excited because she's so beautiful, or you're not so excited because he's so wise and mature. You get to those deeper things, the connection that you make about who is this person. Now you have a future because you've crossed over into the land of love. But you always need to understand that, ladies, young ladies, and older men, everybody's got options. You always got an option. And fortunately, this young lady, Miss Mena, she executed her option and she exited the relationship. I'm not sure which party left, but obviously they aren't together because he apologized to his wife publicly on air. I remember seeing that show. But in age gap relationships, both parties should have the option to be aware of, they got a right to stay or got a right to leave. And it's not about the control, but it's about communication. And imagine a relationship where both partners are free to express their desires, their fears. Obviously, in this type of relationship, there was no freeness of speech. Because why wouldn't he just tell her? I mean, some women, look, I know women that prefer to date married men. It's kind of pathetic, but they do it because the mindset is they don't have to make that strong commitment. And they know he can't, so they can't. It's equal. It's frivolous. It's foolishness, right? It's actually not beneficial for either one. But sometimes people put on these expectations and they don't get what they're really looking for because what they're looking for is actually being found by them in the wrong place. So being open and being creative and being strong, setting up really good foundation for the relationship, it takes time. Sometimes you may just have to sit back and observe a person. Women are sometimes good at that. I'm surprised this beautiful woman, uh, Miss Mena, did not do that, Erica Mena, because I mean, why would she rush in so fast? So it just leads people to think, well, there was some ulterior motives involved in this predicament. But looking at things from a fresh perspective, you want to break free from the stereotype. So, the stereotype in a case like this, older woman, younger man, she was manipulated. Maybe she wasn't. Maybe she did the manipulating. Maybe she saw what she wanted and thought that she was so good that she could take this man out of his situation and make it better for him. Either way, adultery is bad. Being in relationships under false pretenses is bad. There is no future. We hear these stories all the time about these couples that come together in this way and it just don't last because manipulation is not a positive word. I've never seen this word used in a positive sense. If you can think of a positive way to use manipulation, let me know. Let me know. I mean, maybe you want to manipulate a few ideas, but that's still negative. That's just taking it from where the idea belongs, its birth, and changing it harshly to something else. Manipulation is not a pleasant experience. So in age gap relationships, there's always room for growth. In fact, the biggest room in the world is the room for self improvement. So it's about challenging oneself. It's about preconceived notions, getting to the root of a situation, embracing the uniqueness that you have with this individual because you're different in this relationship. They're different in this relationship. You're bringing something they've never experienced before. So they could have been married 15 times. It doesn't matter. They've only been married to you once. They've only been dating you once. This is a complete different experience. And you want it to be special and priceless. So dwelling in societal expectations, society has an expectation for everybody, but it doesn't mean it's a good fit for you. And sometimes people, younger people, want to be with popular people. And sometimes popular people want to be with beautiful people because at their levels that they think they are, that's what society says you should be at. So maybe society, I mean, Gaia, Envy's wife, is an extremely gorgeous woman. And here he is with another extremely gorgeous woman. So, what really is the root of this? It's simple. It's called greed. He's got enough beauty in home. Why would he go out to seek more beauty? It just doesn't make sense. That's why the perspective needs to be fresh. Fresh, a clear mind, a clear focus. It's a new beginning. Get the details, move forward. The hurt of dishonesty, I mean, this is crushing. And you've heard all the stories of the help and assistance they were getting from other people and how people helped them to bring their marriage back together. This is good, but it's still a mark. It's still a mark on your love resume that's going to be there. And then when you look at people's past, I mean, he even admitted that when he was in college, he was selling stolen merchandise. You just add these things up. This is why you need to know people's history. You need to know people's background. And you only know the truth that they tell you. But whenever you find out that truth is no longer real, no longer able to be accepted, see, that's when you need to exercise your options. So when it comes to the matter of adultery, I mean, this should never be an option for anyone. It's a poison. It poisons any relationship. And it's always going to hang there. Because no doubt, when your spouse cheats, as much as you want to forget and put it in the past, when you see them laughing and joking with a member of the opposite sex, the first thing comes to your mind is like, whoa, wow. You start paying attention. You give these eyes and you start looking because you're concerned. This person is a part of your future. I mean, this is the passion that you connected with a time long ago, and that has alternated and become something very special. So in age gap relationships, honesty is even more crucial than ever because their histories. One person was non-existent at one point that this other person wasn't existent, so they have a head start on life. And they need to understand that with their head start on life, they need to slow down just to allow you to catch up a little bit. Because none of us are equals and even, and we all have different experiences and different backgrounds. So we need to be transparent. You want the person you're talking to be transparent. If you've got questions, don't be afraid to ask those questions. Get answers to them because this is your life. This is your life. And we see some horrible things happen because people didn't ask the right questions. They didn't pay attention to all the red flags, the green flags, the blue flags, the black flags. They didn't pay attention to none of the flags. And in some cases, people have lost their life into relationships when someone else belonged to someone else. It's an unfortunate thing, but it's a part of our world. It's the reality. It's what happens. Deeper connections. Age gap relationships can offer really deep emotional connections because there's a certain dependency there on both parties. The older man wants to really understand the depth of what's going on with the younger woman. So he asks lots of questions. He gets down to the details. But he's also listening very, very deeply. The younger woman, she wants to grow. She wants to become something better. She's not trying to become his equal, and it's not about the money. It's really about her ability not to make the bad decisions that some people her age have made. But these type of shared experiences that are now coming together between these two individuals, this is the bond that is so totally necessary. I mean, imagine a love without it. It's an empty feeling to be in a relationship where there's no embracing of emotions. I mean, you can hug and kiss and do other things, but if there's no embracing of the emotion, I mean, what do you have? You've got a glass that's empty. You need to fill the glass up with something. You just can't have a glass that says, oh, I got a glass. Well, for what? Are you drinking anything? Are you using it to mix anything? I mean, what's the purpose? So connecting on deeper emotional levels, this is profound. This is profound. This is something that will stand out because people are going to look at you. They're always looking at you. Your family's looking at you, and unfortunately, some people looking to see you fail. And a lot of times these relationships do fail, but all relationships have the potential for failure, and all relationships have the potential for success. So you've got to match your dreams, your focus, your future, your desires with this person, and they become your support system as you become their support system. And when it becomes just you and them, and you're no longer influenced by outside effects, so you can't have that when you are in an adulterous relationship because there's always an outside effect. There's the ex-wife. I mean, that's what Gaia was. DJ Envy, he knew it the whole time. And then here, this woman, Erica Mena, whether she knew it or not, it doesn't matter. She eventually found out, to her surprise. But I mean, that's just what it is. So this deep connection, it becomes a treasure. You got to connect, connect, connect. And you connect by having good, open, honest communication. Avoid manipulation, ladies. To maintain a healthy age gap relationship is crucial to avoid manipulation. You got to set some boundaries. You got to set some rules. You got to show that you have respect for yourself and thus that you have respect for the other person as well. I mean, boundaries, rules. I mean, consent should be at heart when it comes to every decision. Make decisions together. But I'm going to tell you a cool thing to do. Go see his kids. I wonder if she did that. I don't know if she did that. Did she see the kids? Was she hanging with the kids? Did she go to his house? I mean, if you're dating somebody and they have a home and you have a home, get yourself a chaperone, I recommend. And you go to their place and you see how they're living, and then they come to your place and see them around their friends and family. Because guess what? If she were around the friends and family, somebody would have told her. I don't know if she was or not, allegedly. I don't know. I have no story. This is not my story. But it's things that you can do to make sure that you're safe in this relationship. Imagine a relationship where both partners feel safe and valued. See, when you can go around their family and they can come around your family, and you can go on their social media and you can make posts, and they make posts about you and stuff like that, and you're open about it. I mean, I know some people, especially when it comes to celebrities, they want to keep things quiet. That's okay. That's a personal choice. But at least meet the family. You'll find out the truth. Somebody will tell you, well, have you met his wife? Duh. I mean, could that have happened? We don't know. I mean, but it can come out because there's always a protector in the family for the younger lady, especially if she comes off very nice. And sometimes women like to show their naivety, and they like to show that because they get support when they kind of lower and humble themselves, and it's a nice thing to do sometimes. And men do it also. We show those gentle, naive sides of ourselves where we like not trying to be abrasive or in control. We're just kind of listening and absorbing. And that's the kind of growth that you want to nurture in a person. You want to see that humility. You want to see people grow into the relationship that you're looking for, and you see yourself grow, and you're both nurturing your personal growth, and you're doing good, and you feel good, and you're able to inspire others, and people look at you. Wow, I love a relationship like what you guys had. People love it because they see the nurturing that's gone on. See, that self-discovery where you learn from each other's experiences. I mean, it's priceless. You can't put a price on it. You can't do anything with it. It comes with compassion. It comes with growth. It comes with compatibility. So listen, folks, as we wrap up today's discussion, remember that love is not judgmental. Age gap relationships are much, much more about more than what the eye sees. It's about common attractions. It's about those deep, deep connections, those psychological, those dynamics, responsibility, fresh perspectives, growth. Remember this. Keep those things in mind. That's what it's about. Forget what society says. It's about what your heart says in connection with this other person. So the next time you encounter a love story that defies expectations, one that you're involved in, embrace it. Embrace it by getting all the details, knowing all the details. Don't be surprised like Erica Mena. I mean, she says she was surprised. Allegedly, she was surprised. She didn't know the details that the man was married. Look at the man's history. Look at what he did in college. I mean, does he have a record? Find out. You need to know if he has a criminal record. Has this man gone to jail? Has he done time? Has he hurt other people? Know these details. This is your life. You only get one, so you want to do it the best way. So when you know and you feel comfortable that you can move forward in this relationship and continue to grow with this person, well, that just becomes a beautiful thing. So we want to thank you for joining us today as we've had this discussion. We hope it has been uh, mind blowing in the sense that it opened your eyes and your mind to the seriousness of not taking anything for granted, not taking yourself for granted, not being taken for granted, but actually to the point that you're going to protect yourself and protect the one that you're with. As a woman, you protect your man. As a man, you protect your woman. You protect each other. So continue to do good. Continue to take care of one another. And as always, we'll see you again tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. And if you have not already liked and subscribed to our channel, please do so. There's more coming. So we'll see you tomorrow morning at 7:30 for another exciting discussion on all things about relationships. And as we always say, remember this. We'll see you tomorrow morning.